My background is that I'm a scientist by training. I studied to PhD level with the intention of going into research, and my first job was in industry, and I was very lucky to get my job at one of the earliest biotech companies in the UK, Celtech. And during the course of working there, what I realised was that I was very interested in the commercial side of science. So after 5 years, I moved into a commercial role. And ever since that time, I have worked in a variety of commercial roles, either in companies. So I started in international business development. I moved into technology transfer for one of the big cancer charities. And then again, a lucky break, I moved into venture capital for 3 years in the city, working for Rothschilds and J&J. And that got me involved with working with scientific entrepreneurs and starting businesses. One of the most important things that's helped me in my career path is my own character. So I am a very driven individual, and that comes from my parents who are immigrants, well, were immigrants into the country from India. And so they were very ambitious for me, but in a nice way. And so that's really what's carried me through my career. I've been very focused and known what I've wanted to do. But also it's the people I've met along the way. The opportunities I've had in part have come because I went into a scientific career and joined a small company when it was very young and growing. And when you do that, you get a chance to be exposed to very many different jobs. And so that opportunity for me was to see what it was like, what other people's roles were like, and to make a judgment as to what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to stay as a scientist or indeed do something else. So that was tremendous, and I was given the opportunity to move into a non-scientific role within the same company. Other opportunities I've had have really come from being lucky, and by lucky I mean partly you make your own luck, but partly being just in the right place at the right time with the right qualifications. Trying to aspire to a management career as a woman has been very difficult. And particularly I'm quite small, so I've never looked my age, and so that's always counted against me. So for example, when I was head of a team, a business team at Celtech, I'd go into a meeting as the leader of the team, and the person or the people we were meeting would always assume it was one of the men that was leading the team. So I think that's always been difficult because I don't want to change my personality. I don't want to become more pushy, loud. I want to be the person that I am and still be a good manager. And sometimes you're judged within a man's world by those standards. So that's been quite tough, and sometimes it's counted against me, but I've stuck to my principles, and I think that you can manage well if you're assertive, have self-confidence and self-belief, and you can be a people person. So if you look at something like The Apprentice, you don't have to act like that to be a good manager. So that's one of the main threats I think that I've faced. As a very young person, a university student, certainly lack of money was always an issue. And how do you move yourself forward when you haven't got enough money to eat or socialise or do all those things? And I think that's still a big problem, maybe even a growing problem for younger people today. And it carries on. When you start a business, usually on day one you haven't got enough money for that business, so you've got to find a way to move that business forward, and usually you make financial sacrifices yourself. And the term is sweat equity, where you either don't take a salary or you take half salary or a quarter salary. So those kind of things are very, very challenging. My inspiration will be my mother. And I think I get my character from my mother, and my mother suffered from a degenerative disease. So all through my childhood, she was unwell. but always positive, driven, ambitious for herself, ambitious for me, and a lot of what I did as a child was things that I wanted to do, but also because I wanted my mother to be proud of me. And it's given me a strength of character. And then I think as you go through life, you just collect other people who inspire you. I have a few, but I think the one that I believe in the most, it's very hard in the business I work in, because most of the time things don't work. So you have to get used to failure. So the saying I like is that success is failure turned inside out. It is very hard and very lonely starting up a business, and so you have to have a lot of self-belief and a lot of self-confidence. And I say this to myself, and I say it to others who I support in this role, and that is that if you don't believe in yourself, then you can't expect the people around you to believe in you.